I'm James George, website designer and developer, and today I'm going to talk about Foundation 5 and how to use Foundation 5 to build websites quickly. Foundation 5 is great for rapidly developing websites. It has a modular design, and all of its scripts are included in the download package. So you can just download it, install it, and get going quickly. And another thing that everybody likes is it has a lot of features that everybody's looking for, such as the orbital slider, accordion menu, and a reveal modal or a pop-up, which everybody likes to have on their website. And so let's hop on the computer and I'll show you all about it.
So if you go to Foundation on the web, just type it into Google, it'll take you to zerb.foundation.com, and you can go to the download page here, and you can download Foundation in its default, or you could customize it, or you can install Foundation SCSS. When you scroll down a little bit, you have the capability to completely customize Foundation, and I really just think this is an excellent feature just because you can customize exactly how Foundation works for you, and that is part of the flexibility of Foundation is you can determine the number of columns that you're using, the gutter width, the max width, all the colors. You can determine which components you're going to include in the build of your Foundation module. It's all just however you want, completely customized. Now, today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to download the basic default CSS. So let's say you downloaded that, and you're going to have a folder. It's a Foundation -5.1.1.zip. You double click that, it'll create a folder, and you can drop it in your site folder or wherever you work. And so once you do that, you're going to have this basic file structure. You have your CSS, you have an images folder, and these three aren't normally here, but these are my examples for today. It's basically, you normally have just the index.html file. Then you also have your robots.txt, and you have all of your JavaScript. And there's the folder. Everything is included all in one folder, so it just makes it really easy. You don't have to go and download each component. And so you have all the features if you just download the default CSS version. So what's going to happen is when you open up the index.html file, you're going to have a basic page layout. And this is just a basic page structure where they show you all the features all in one page. And so what that looks like is this. This is what their page looks like that you download by default. And so it shows you the buttons and things like that. And it just gives you an idea of how everything fits together in a modular fashion. So if you go back and look at the code, you can see that it's basically just divs in a 12-column structure. So you have 12 columns across, and your columns fit inside of those. And so it makes it really easy. And so if you just think about a 12-column wide website, then you can understand the flexibility of how this all works. And so you can have one full width column of 12 columns, 2 columns of 6, 3 columns of 4, 4 columns of 3, and 6 columns of 2. You can even have 12 columns of 1 if you want. And so it just makes it really easy when you're building your layout that you can just throw in the column width, and that's it. You don't have to make any kind of calculations or anything like that. So it's a really just, you can build a layout quickly. There's no guessing. There's none of that. It just makes it really easy. And so 3 of the main features that I think are the most useful in Foundation 5 are the orbit slider, the accordion, and the modal pop-up. And so you find those features a lot on most websites. And so you can build that in Foundation rather quickly. And the great thing about Foundation is they have all their documentation. So you can just go to Docs, and it has everything down the side, and it even includes an HTML example. And so it makes it really easy, because if you're just learning Foundation, you can go in and click on Orbit Slider, and they show you exactly how to set it up. It's really easy. They even provide the HTML. And so you can just copy that and paste it into a page and completely customize it. And so if we go to the Orbit Slider, basically what this breaks down to is you have an unordered list of images, and then your caption, and when you define your actual orbit slider, you use the data orbit data options attribute. You can control how your orbital slider behaves, which is an excellent feature. And so you can determine the animation speed, if it pauses on hover, which is a typical feature of the slider, the animation speed, if it has the navigation arrows or bullets. And so you can completely customize how your slider behaves. That's fantastic. And so you have your image folder here, and I put 3 images in there, and I'll link them up and everything, just like you would any HTML document you would work with. And I also put in the controls here. And so if you go and preview this, this is your typical orbit slider. And you have your arrows, and there's no buttons, but there's your captions, and it just transitions through, and it's really smooth and flexible. The other feature that a lot of people like is the accordion. And so you have sort of like a vertical drop-down menu. When you click on this, it unfolds, I guess you could say, like an accordion. You have other options in here, and so it gives you a really easy way to compact a lot of information into one space, and people can open it up if they are curious about it. But if you just want a small, compact design, an accordion is a good choice. And that's really easy to implement as well. If you go down to accordion, you can see that they give you an example here. And so basically you just set this up with your different panel options and your tabs, your different menus, and it's all set up for you. And so you can have as many accordions as you want, and you can even have tabs inside of your accordions, which makes it really easy. It's just really easy to compact a lot of information using an accordion. And what's interesting about the accordion and anything else that you use is the fact that if you change something, if you need to change the width of something, all you have to do is change the column width, and whatever's inside of it will fill that column. So if we change this to 4 columns and hit save, oops, we change this to 4 columns and hit save. If we go back over here and refresh, your accordion's only 4 columns wide out of 12, and so it takes up a third of your width. Being able to build a menu system quickly and not have to worry about things overflowing and problems like that just makes your job a whole lot easier. It makes life a lot simpler when you're trying to build something like this. The third thing that's really popular on a lot of websites is having a modal pop-up. Sort of like you click a button and you get a menu or a sign-up form or something like that. It says, hey, wait a minute, don't forget you need to do this, or why don't you sign up for my newsletter, something like that. And so a lot of people want that feature and don't understand how to implement it. And it's actually really easy inside of Foundation 5. Again, if you go to Foundation and click Reveal Modal under Callouts and Prompts, it's got everything set up for you. And so you just create a div with My Modal and then Data Reveal. And then you can set the parameters here. As long as you have this div with the ID of My Modal that you declare here, it will open up your Modal Pop-Up. And so I've created that for you as well. And so you have your 12 columns. You have the My Modal div ID, the class Reveal Modal. And so here you can have any kind of content you want. You could divide this up into further modules as well. You could, create a 3-column layout and add a subscribe form, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and something else if you want. So it just makes it easy to build a complex layout fast and pack it full of features that you want. And so you have your text here, your secondary text, and you just have to include this little line here that says Reveal My Modal. And that's the link that is going to, this could be a button, this could be an image, this could be anything really. And so if we go to our page, you see it says click me for a modal. And you click that, the modal pops up and you have your message and information or whatever that you want inside. So in just a few minutes, you can implement a lot of complex features that aren't that easy to do in other scenarios. You can piece different sliders and modal pop-up scripts and everything together from other sources, but nothing is going to be as easy as something that's all-inclusive like Foundation 5. Well, that's it for today. I'm James George. Thank you for watching.